Passion Fruit is not only a song by Drake, it is also a very nutritious, extremely delicious, lubricious delicacy. And as always, I'm gonna start off this presentation with some background information, but if you're not interested in that, feel free to skip to the perfume section. Story time. The name passion fruit was introduced in the 15th and 16th century by Spanish Christian missionaries in Brazil. And Brazil is the native country of the passion fruit and passion flower. Now, it was used as an educational aid whilst trying to convert the indigenous people at the time to Christianity. The word passion in passion flower referred to the passion of Jesus and the unique physical structures of the plant. Particularly the number of its various flower parts were adopted as symbols of the last days of Jesus and especially the crucifixion. The blue passion flower showed most of these elements of this Christian symbolism. For example, the pointed tips of the leaves were taken to represent the Holy Lance. The tendrils represent the whips used in the flagellation of Christ. The 10 petals and sepals represent the 10 faithful apostles, excluding St. Peter the denier and Judas the betrayer. The flower's radial filaments, which can number more than 100 and vary from flower to flower, represent the crown of thorns. The chalice-shaped ovary with its receptacle represents a hammer or the Holy Grail. The 3 stigmas represent the 3 nails, and the 5 anthers below them represent the 5 wounds, 4 by the nails and 1 by the lance. The blue and white colors of many of the species flowers represent heaven and purity. In addition, the flower keeps open for 3 days, symbolizing the 3 years ministry. So it seems like a lot of meaning and symbolism can be attributed to this flower or to the passion fruit, which should actually be referred to as the passion flower fruit, but the term passion fruit is more commonly used. In Hawaii, the passion fruit is commonly called lilikoi, and where I come from, it was always referred to as grenadilla. And in South Africa, it's really used very often in all kinds of juices. Grenadilla juice, really delicious, and all South African kids will know what that tastes like. But it is commonly used in all kinds of cultures to enhance all types of juices. It's used as salad dressing, it's used in yogurt, in ice cream and desserts, in cheesecake, in syrups, in jams, in liquors, in cocktails, in mousses. So basically in a lot of desserts and juice. It's also packed with a bunch of vitamins and antioxidants, and it has an array of supposed health benefits. But I'm not going to get into that too much. The only one I did find very interesting and delved into a little bit more is that passion flower extract could be effective in the treatment of anxiety and insomnia. So I looked into some studies because I'm always extremely skeptical of this kind of stuff, but there does seem to be some validity to this. There isn't really enough valid research to draw solid conclusions here, but I did find a double-blind placebo-controlled study that found that it helped reduce anxiety in ambulatory surgery patients when taken pre-operatively. And then in another study, it was used in the treatment of generalized anxiety. And it was found to have similar effects to oxazepam, which is an addictive anti-anxiety medication. So if it works, then fantastic. Even if it only works as placebo. It also showed sedative effects in a double-blind randomized control trial in the treatment of opiates withdrawal. So there could actually be some validity to this. And if it doesn't work, it can't do much harm either. Now, what does it taste like? What does it smell like? Maybe that's more important because I tend to lose myself in these kind of details. Passion fruit contains a lot of citric and malic acid, and a lot of fructose and glucose. So basically it has a lot of sugar and a lot of acids, which not only adds to its unique flavor, but serves as a preservative of the fruit. And that's one of the reasons that I really love buying passion fruit, because it never seems to go off. I never have to throw it away because it lasts forever. And the more wrinkly they get, the better they actually are. They're actually at their ripe ideal stage when they're wrinkly like this. although they're just as good when they're not wrinkly. They do go bad, don't be mistaken. But even like this one is kind of rotting at the outside, but the inside's still going to be good. It's because it has a really thick skin. So if you have one of these ugly looking passion fruits, don't throw it away because it hasn't gone bad. It's probably still good. Just cut it open, eat it up. And that's the way I prefer eating them. I'm just cutting them open and eating them with a spoon, or just when I don't have a spoon. The not so wrinkly one still has a thicker skin, and it tastes just feel it at the back of your throat. It's like super sour and sweet at the same time. Quite sour. The outer layer is much thinner. Cheers. Oh, yeah. See, this is much less sour. This is more perfection. So actually this is a squiggly one. Much nicer, sweeter, less sour, but still sour because I like the sour. But this one is really sour. I also like that. So I'll eat both. Yeah. What does passion fruit smell like? It's sweet and sour. We've established that. And there's this bitterness and lip puckering acidity to it that I just absolutely love. But I really like sour tastes, not fragrances. By the way, we're programmed to dislike sour because it indicates that something's off or poisonous. But that's another story. Gonna do a video about that at one point, about the psychology of scents. If you want that, let me know. I've already asked that and you already let me know, but I still am not on it. It just smells intensely exotic and tropical and delicious and very tarty, like sweet but with an acidic little punch. And mountain aromatics, he describes it as a mixture of green mango, kiwi and peach. And he also beautifully puts it when he describes it as if sniffing a bunch of bananas layered over a hollowed out pineapple. So it's just sweet, lactonic, acidic, and a slightly waxy smelling. And it just livens up anything it touches. Now we're going to go move on to the fragrances finally. And I have 13 passion fruit dominant fragrances. While some aren't as dominant as others, which will be why they are more down the list. I have some designers and some niche. And I'm going to start at the bottom, of course. First up, at number 13, we have a light, fruity, floral Scheiper. I won this bottle after writing a review on some fragrance website many years ago. And yeah, I'm glad I won it because I would never have bought it. I haven't touched this much. I haven't found it interesting enough basically to gravitate to. And it also just doesn't really last long enough to get a proper wearing out of. I sprayed this 2 days ago. Actually, I can still smell it on the tester strip, but very faintly. But I'm going to give it a fresh spray. It just smells very cheap and designery. And if you know that it costs... The opening is better, but the dry down smells really ugh. In the top it has bergamot, ginger, hibiscus, frangipani and passion fruit. In the heart it has violet, Turkish rose and tuberose. And in the base it has patchouli, cedar and ambrette or musk marrow. It's pretty though. It's a very pretty scent in a very pretty bottle. But it's uninteresting. It's quite boring without a lot of substance. It's like a pretty girl just sitting there being pretty, not saying much. In French we say, tais-toi et sois belle. It's a very derogatory expression, a very female unfriendly expression said to pretty girls. Just shut up and be pretty. And this kind of embodies that to me. I like it standing there in my cabinet because it looks good. But I'm not gonna use it for anything else than the exterior. I'm sorry. Oh, So the cap was designed by the Polish artist Bronisław Kory. The cap was designed by a Polish artist whose name I will put on the screen because I can't for the life of me pronounce it. And the nose behind this fragrance is also someone whose name I can't remember, and I'll also put it on the screen. If this was a fraction of the price, I think it would maybe deserve a higher spot on my list, but it's still a designer fragrance, but it costs 50 euros for 30 ml and over 100 euros for 100 ml, and it just doesn't smell any better than a 10-15 euros one. Next up we have Angel's Muse Eau de Toilette by Micallef. I only have a sample because I don't need a bottle. And the nose behind this is of course 10'ish. Was released in 2017 as a futuristic gourmand. And I quote, "The opening notes are described as a luminous explosion of mandarin and passion fruit. The heart is an addictive explosion of hazelnut cream. And the base creates a magnetic explosion," a lot of explosions going on here, "of a Kajal wood and vetiver. It is a joyous, tender and gourmand eau de toilette that reinterprets the duo of hazelnut cream and vetiver of that earlier version with a new fruity facet, giving an extremely soft and subtle result." Now, I like the passion fruit opening of this, but it still smells too much like Angel, and I don't like Angel. I don't mind it. If someone else wears it, I really won't mind it, but I don't really see myself wearing it. So it's very similar to what I already reviewed, that Eau Croisière, Angel Eau Croisière. This is also just the Angel DNA with passion fruit to me. And the opening again, just like with the mango one, is nice until it dries down and you're just left with an area Angel DNA. So not my favorite, but it gets a lot of love, and I do see its beauty in an objective way. Oh god, it went under the yes. So next up we have L'air du Paradis by Nina Ricci. And when I first got this, I was super excited because this bottle is to die for, first of all. Well, the cap is really plasticky and gimmicky, but it looks nice from afar. If this was glass, it would have been perfect. This is a limited edition by Kelly's Becker, and it was launched in 2018. It's still available, but not very widely. So if you can get your hands on it, get your hands on it, especially for the opening. It has a sensationally beautiful opening that smells absolutely niche, but a disappointing dry down.
The top notes of this are passion fruit and lime. The middle notes are frangipani, jasmine and exotic floral notes and barberry. And at the base we have woody notes.
So basically the opening is just beautiful with some white florals, mainly a beautiful jasmine and passion fruit and a bit of bergamot, but it just dries down to a generic, cheaper designer fragrance because it is very promising in the opening. It really smells like a niche. Let me respray it again. But God, that opening. If it stayed like that all the way through, I would have been ecstatic, but it doesn't. It also reminds me quite a lot of the Sisley one, only it's better, especially in the opening, but also throughout the dry down. At the end, it's still better. It's also cheaper and more tropical smelling. Next up, we have Beyonce's Heat Rush, and it's quite high up on the list. Not because it smells better than the other ones, but it just smells more or less equally as good, and it costs absolutely nothing. So this was released in 2011.
And has opening notes of passion fruit sorbet, blood orange and Brazilian cherry. Its heart blooms with yellow tiger orchard, mango blossom and orange hibiscus, while a warm base closes with teakwood, honey amber and Rio sunset musk.
Again, Rio Brazilian reference, the birthplace of passion fruit. Now, Beyonce's official website says that heat rush shines, sparkles, and excites the moment it touches the skin. Surrounded by luminous, fragrant aura, the woman who wears it feels instantly effervescent and alive. Sensual and bright, the scent lights up the room just as Beyonce captivates with her presence. So apparently this fragrance is inspired by the bright and subtle sensuality that transcends every aspect of Beyonce's life. And then later they tell us how it also encapsulates her humbleness. Interesting, isn't it? It's actually really nice for such an uber cheapie. I paid 14 euros for 100 milliliters. And especially compared to the other designers that I've already discussed, this is just as good and much cheaper. So I do get synthetic grapefruit and passion fruit in here, and it is quite refreshing and quite girly. But I am going to give it away because I don't think I'm going to wear it. But it is really nice for the price. Next up is Mon Parfum by Micallef. And this was released in 2019. And the nose behind it is Jean-Claude Astier. I cannot smell much of the dry down anymore, so I'm going to re-dab. Yeah. So this Mr. Astier is responsible for most of the Micallefs and also for all of the Vidians. And I find that pretty strange because Vidian is one of my favorite houses and Micallef is one of my least favorite houses. So, But this one, Mon Parfum, is quite nice. But it's not super unique or special to me, especially for the price. And as others have suggested, it really does smell like the well-behaved love child of Angel Eau de Parfum and Narciso Rodriguez Eau de Toilette for her, mixed with some passion fruit. It's low on the list because I don't really get a lot of passion fruit. I like it though. It's much better to me than the typical Angels. And it has top notes of mandarin orange and African orange flower, mid notes of vetiver vanilla and passion fruit, and base notes of musk, patchouli and caramel. So it's rather nice. And the longevity isn't really great, but it's not bad either. It's not something I will buy a full bottle of, but it's decent. Next up we have I Am Juicy Couture by Juicy Couture. And this one has been used quite a lot, and the longevity of this is great. I can still smell it from 2 days ago. And I'm just going to respray it quickly. It's by Dora Beck-Riche, and it was launched in 2015. So it opens with a very sweet raspberry mixed with passion fruit and pomelo. And in the mid, the sweet fruits are accompanied by some florals, such as gardenia, rose, sweet pea, and heliotrope, adding to the sweetness. And in the base, we have a soft sweet musk, sweet amber, and cashmere wood. So the sharper acidic quality of the passion fruit does come in nicely here. But if you don't tend to like sweet scents, this is not for you. Back away. If you do like things like Aqualina's pink sugar, then you'll probably love this. Solid. Next up we have Don't Ask Me Permission by Simone Andreoli. And this is a beautiful, creamy, sweet passion fruit with a bit of liqueur and peach. It's creamier and very sweet with a hint of liqueur. It was launched in 2017. The nose is obviously Simone Andreoli. And in the dry down, we get more of a musky, creamy sandalwood combo. In the top we have bergamot, sweet orange and sugar. In the mid we have passion fruit, peach, ylang ylang and heliotrope. And in the base we have ambergris, musk, sandalwood and liquor. It has decent longevity and it lasts for about 4 to 6 hours. Decent longevity. Pretty nice and not crazy expensive for a niche. So this is a huge jump, by the way. Up to here we had decent designers, and from here on out they're all really good. So the jump between number 7 and 8 is big. Next up we have Moon Carnaval by Vilhelm Parfumerie, and I only have a sample, but I do want to show you what the beautiful bottles look like. This is a 100 ml and a smaller bottle, I think 50. Mango skin, one of the most beautiful fruity fragrances you'll ever smell, and a lilac a day. And anyway, these bottles, stunning packaging. But this is about Moon Carnival. Also absolutely stunning. The whole house is amazing, to be honest. So Moon Carnival is a very sweet white floral, heavy on the tuberose with passion fruit. In the top it has passion fruit, bergamot and pink freesia. And then this pink freesia quickly transitions to the tuberose in the mid. We also have gardenia in the mid, orchid. And in the base we have marshmallow, a beautiful sweet marshmallow, and tonka bean and vanilla. This has a really great backstory. It's about a man from Rio, Brazilian city, and Brazil is the birthplace of the passion fruit. And this man from Rio falls in love with a dancer whose golden skin held the sense of passion, who loved tuberose more than any other flower. To prove his love, the man traveled the world in search of all the tuberose to fill the moon. For 7 days and 7 nights, the moon scattered this enchanting scent, pears, patchouli, ambroxan, orris, and musk across the universe. So this is mainly a very sweet, fluffy marshmallow tuberose with some beautiful tangy passion fruit, and it has really good longevity. I would like more passion fruit in this. I get passion fruit, but not enough. It's more dominant on the tuberose. But if you love tuberose and you love passion fruit, go and get it. Next up we have Kirké with accent aigu, so I guess it's Kirké, by Tiziana Terenzi. Launched in 2015, and the nose behind it is of course Paolo Terenzi. And this is a very true to life passion fruit. It's a bit more fruity. I think it's very similar to Cassiopea that I'm going to come to soon, but it's a bit more fruity. It has a lovely creamy musky dry down, and in the top it has passion fruit, peach, raspberry and sand. Never ever encountered sand in a fragrance, and I can't say I get it. I sprayed some here. It really is stunning. In the mid it has lily of the valley, in the base it has heliotrope, sandalwood, vanilla, patchouli and musk. And to me it smells quite similar to Don't Ask Me Permission, especially in the dry down. The longevity is medium to good. I get about 4 to 5 hours, and the reason that Cassiopea is rated higher than this one to me is because it has much better longevity on me. Next up we have Velorum. No, I don't have a full bottle of that. I'm not that rich. Because a full bottle is over 700 euros. It has real gold details and stuff. It's a piece of art. Absolutely stunning, and I have to admit it would be the number 1 on this list if it wasn't so crazy expensive. But it's not that much better than the other ones to warrant a position higher than what I'm going to give it. So Velorum by Tiziana Terenzi. I have a big 3 ml sample that cost me like 20 euros. So I'm very stingy with it, but oh my god, it's beautiful. Launched in 2017. It's orange spicy, cardamom, cinnamon, passion fruit, vanilla. It's creamy, slightly spicy, chocolatey, white chocolate, vanillic, passion fruit, and creamy sandalwood. Just a very warm gourmand, and amber. In the top it has ginger. I do get a bit of ginger. Mandarin orange, saffron rose, black pepper, what else was in there? Cardamom. And in the mid it has nutmeg, cloves, cinnamon, tea, lotus, almonds and passion fruit. And in the base it has vanilla, musk, gaiac wood, sandalwood, tonka bean, white chocolate and amber. So basically my top 5 all have musk and sandalwood in the base, and patchouli, passion fruit and bergamot somewhere in the top or mid. Next up at number 3, top 3 baby, we have Dahab by Kajal. And as you can see, there is absolutely nothing left in my sample. I can't even get those last drops out, but I'm getting myself a full bottle soon, I hope. This I discovered at the Fragrance Expo in Florence last year or 2 years ago. I don't have any notion of time. And the bottles from the Kajal line actually really impressed me. They were, first of all, stunning. Those caps, very unique, very beautiful. And most of the fragrances really were nice. And Dahab was one of my favorites. So I got myself a sample of it and I use it up. So this was launched in 2015 and the nose behind it is Christian Carbonel and Rosendo Mathieu. And this is passion fruit with some green Granny Smith apples and woody notes and saffron. Now this one evolves a lot and some people might not like that because it's not fruity anymore in the base. It's more of a very creamy, soft musk. It lasts forever. Even a little spray just lasts forever. It's stunning bottles. And the passion fruit in here is very natural smelling. The apple in here, I find it very difficult to find a natural, non-synthetic mess of an apple. Like those DKNY delicious crap. Ugh, don't get me started. But this apple note is absolutely stunning. So anyway, in the opening is just a very beautiful, fresh, sparkling, crispy passion fruit and green apple. These are very feminine, very light, very sweet, bright, sparkling Granny Smith apples. The top notes are bergamot and Granny Smith apples. The heart notes are passion fruit, cedar and coriander, and the base notes are patchouli, musk and amber. So this is just a very magical, hypnotic, enchanting fragrance. Dahab, by the way, is not only a city in Egypt, but it also means gold. And this does feel like gold, fresh gold. The website states that it exudes luxury and richness for the wearer. So beautiful. At number 2 we have another one by Tiziana Terenzi called Cassiopea. And this is, according to me, the most dominant on the passion fruit and the most natural, authentic smelling passion fruit. I almost went right through the sample and I sprayed some over here and it's really lovely. Very similar to Kirké, and don't ask me permission. And just like Kirké, it was also released in 2015. The nose behind it is obviously also Paolo Terenzi. So it's understandable why they're so similar. It's a very feminine leaning, unisex beauty. And the citrus side of passion fruit is very beautifully displayed here. It's a bit more green than the others that I've mentioned. And I get a beautiful sandalwood and patchouli. Again, sandalwood and patchouli. I guess the notes go very well together. And similar to Kirké or Kirké, I find this one more sensual, more complex, and a little bit less fruity. So it's more complex. So in the top we have passion fruit, lemon, patchouli, and fern. In the mid we have carnation, lily of the valley, tea, and rose. And in the base we have sandalwood, tonka, and musk. And apparently it smells like Britney's Fantasy, which I don't really believe because it seems too good to be true, and most things too good to be true usually aren't true. But I did go ahead and order myself a bottle because it's like 15 euros. So it's on its way. And if it does turn out to smell similar, I will update you guys in the description. It has really good longevity. I still smell it after 8 hours and it's just beautiful. It's really stunning. Expensive, but not 700 euros expensive. And then last, but definitely obviously not least, is Inside Out by The Gate. It's not only one of my favorite Pixar movies, but this is absolutely stunning. Maybe it's because I'm so crazy about vanilla and sweetness. And this actually weirdly gives me a bit of a rouge smoking vibe. And I know this is getting a little bit old. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. And it has it doesn't really have a lot of similar notes. It has that boozy, smoky, vanillic quality. And it's not really similar, but if you like rouge smoking, I think you'll like this. This is absolutely stunning. Ah! Oh, I sprayed some here. Oof. This is one of those you want to put your teeth in, you know? Really, really so good. So good. How do I start? Let me start with the notes. It actually isn't that heavy on the passion fruit. And that's why I wasn't too sure to put it on number 1. Because number 2 is a more straightforward, very clearly beautiful, natural passion fruit. And this is about passion fruit after all. But if I'm honest and just tell you what my absolute favorite is, then this is it. It's just so delicious. It's edible ice cream, but not in a juvenile way. It's ice cream with frangipani. It's not overly sweet. It's not immature, like I said, and it's a little boozy. That's absinthe in there and the wormwood. And so probably that's the reason why it's in a similar vein of rouge smoking to me. So it's extremely mass appealing and very likable. I can't imagine anyone not liking this, at least. I love it, but I think most people will at least like it. In the top we have iced mandarin, passion fruit, sorbet, black currant buds, and Thai basil. In the heart we have rosemary, absinthe, frangipani, very exotic, wormwood, magnolia flower, and in the base we have vanilla ice cream. So I definitely get a lot of vanilla and a lot of ice cream. I get the absinthe, which I also really like. Very likable, very unique. And those are the ones I really like. The ones that are really wearable and lovely, but also unique and that you don't smell every day. So the mix of passion fruit and absinthe and vanilla ice cream is just absolutely delightful and sensual and smooth and just deliciously sexy. This was my passion fruit adventure. I hope you guys have already subscribed and done all those things, and if you haven't, do it, please. Thanks. Put a lot of effort in this stuff, so... Ooh. Oh my god, you're cute. You're cute. And this is why I'm single. Represent the crown of thorns. He's easier. I can do anything with him. Yeah. This is how I plump my lips. It's the Kylie Jenner lip challenge. Again. Ow. The edges of the wrinkly one are actually really sharp. Don't try this at home, kids. If you do, use the younger variety. It's softer on the lips. It actually f***ing works. My lips are actually full on. But I also have a weird mustache thing. You win some, you lose some. Wait, let me look it up quickly. I'm weird, I know. Don't judge.